Alright, so for this project, this is called the Muscles project, and it's using the Bone tool. The Bone tool is just another way to handle animation. It allows you to do really smooth and natural animations, and sometimes, it can be very helpful. So we're going to experiment with that a little bit today, and we'll learn how to connect things together using the Bone tool. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Animate. So my Adobe Animate is right here. So I had some stuff that was open previously. So we're going to click Create New. And we're going to go to Standard. Again, Standard is just a smaller size than the HD. So if you look here, 640 by 480 versus this one is 1280 by 720. That's pixels. So it's a smaller size. And our frame rate, we want it between anywhere between 24 and 30 frames. That is a fluid animation. All right, so we're going to click Create. And again, just to start you off, we have our tools on our left side. We have our properties on our right. We have our library on our right, color on our right, and alignment on our right side. If you also want color to change it down here, you can change the fill color right here or the stroke right here. This little white box with the slash to it means that there is no color on it. So I'm going to turn off the stroke, and then now I just have a red box with no outline. Down here we have our timeline. Right? This allows you to zoom in, zoom out. We want to be able to see the seconds. So if you look right here, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, you want to be able to see those. And down here, we want our frames. So remember I was saying animation is 24 to 30 seconds, 30 frames. So this is 30 frames equals 1 second, 60 frames equals 2 seconds, all right? This is our loop, and these are our layers. So we have layer 1, and we can add more layers, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, or delete them like that, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, all right? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to just get started. The first thing I want you to do is draw 2 rectangles of any color. So we're going to go over here, select our rectangle tool on the left side, and I'm going to draw my first rectangle. And I'm going to go down here, change my color. Let's change it to blue. And I'm going to draw my second rectangle. So click right here. I want to align it with the top of my other rectangle so that it looks like this. All right, so we're going to convert both of these rectangles to shapes. So I'm going to drag a box over the first rectangle. Make sure not to touch the second rectangle. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say convert to symbol. All right? And I'm going to call it red rectangle. Oops, let's do that again. So right, drag over it. I'm going to select it, right click, come down to convert to symbol. All right, so I can have it a graphic or movie clip. Graphic button or movie clip. We'll keep it as movie clip for this, and I'm going to click change the name to red rectangle, red, and click OK. All right, now I'm going to do the same for my blue one, making sure I don't touch my red one. Drag over the top, right click, convert to symbol. I'm going to say blue rectangle. All right, so next thing I have to do is connect these using the bone tool. Oops. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go get our bone tool. So I'm gonna go over here to my tool panel on the left. I don't see a bone tool here. So what I have to do is I have to click on these 3 dots. And this is my drag and drop tools. So this is all the tools that weren't included in my initial set of tools. So here's my bone tool. So I'm gonna click this and I'm gonna drag it up here. And I'm gonna align it right underneath that eraser, and it looks like a little bone. I just click on the 3 dots to edit to put the bone, panel back in, and now I have my bone tool selected. So the way the bone tool works is it allows us to connect things seamlessly together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a line from the right side of my red rectangle to the blue side of my left rectangle. So I'm gonna click right here and drag to like right here. I don't want it to be on the top, so a little bit down. All right, so now they're connected. If I zoom in on it, you'll see it creates a purple line, which is what I'm looking for. All right, so I zoom back out. I just hit Control minus and Control plus to zoom in and out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and I have a new layer. It's called Armature 1. Armature means that this is it's going to be a moving object. So in the next frame, right next to Armature 1, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say Insert Pose. So I'm going to set a pose for this new shape. So I want to go grab my black arrow. I'm going to click on the right hand side of my blue rectangle. I just click once first to kind of make sure nothing's selected, and then I'm going to click again, and I'm going to drag it a little bit. All right, I'm going to click again, and I'm going to keep doing this. Insert pose. I'm going to keep doing this until I get my blue rectangle almost parallel to the red box. So move it a little bit more. Come down here, I left click, then right click, insert pose. All right, let's move it some more. Come down here, right click, insert pose. And I don't have to be doing it so smooth. I can just kind of jump ahead, but I'm gonna insert a few of these, maybe one more. Grab it on the right hand side. So this looks pretty good where it is. I'm already leaving the top of the page there, which I didn't want, but this is good. All right, so if I play back my animation, I clear out my playhead, drag it back. So whoop, whoop. So that's gonna look like someone's doing a lateral side lift, right? So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a weight to this. So this symbolizes my shoulder right here. The red is my shoulder, the blue is my arm, and I'm gonna add a weight to the bottom. So I wanna make sure that I'm not in my armature layer, then I'm on my layer 1, and I'm gonna draw a gray weight or black weight. So I'm gonna choose a dark gray, right? I'm gonna select a circle. It doesn't have to be like a dumbbell or anything, but we're just gonna draw a weight. So I'm gonna draw, that looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna come to my text tool. And what I wanna do is I wanna change my color of my text so that it shows up on top of the gray. So if I would have used the same color, it wouldn't have been visible. So I come over here and I'm gonna go over to my properties now that I have my text tool. And you can adjust this. Right now I'm gonna have it set to, let's have it set to 8 points so you can see how to adjust it. I'm gonna click on top of the ball or the box, and then I'm gonna drag across. And I'm gonna write 50 lbs, 50 pounds. All right, I'm gonna hit Control A or Command A to select all the text in there, or you can just drag across with your mouse. Go to my properties, and I'm gonna come down here to where it says size. I'm just gonna drag that size up till it looks good on the weight. So it's about 40 point right there. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna click black arrow, and I'm just gonna move that to the center of the weight. All right, so that looks pretty good right there. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect this weight to this arm. So I'm gonna select it, right? Drag a box over it like we did the other ones. Convert it to a symbol. And we're gonna call this weight. Click OK. All right, so if we look in our library, we have 3 things: weight, rectangle, red, blue rectangle. So I'm gonna close this again. All right, so I have my weight. So I'm gonna select my weight. And I'm gonna drag it underneath the blue box. You can have it next to it, to the right of it, to the left of it, I mean, or underneath it. I'm gonna go select my bone tool, and I'm gonna click on the bone tool. So from right here, I'm gonna click on the blue, and I'm gonna drag it to the top of the gray weight, like that. All right. So now we can test out our animation, see if it lifts it. Getting swole. All right. So we have our animation. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to reverse it so that he eventually puts the weight down. So what we're going to do is I'm going to select all these frames. So I'm going to start at the front of the armature layer. the first frame and I'm gonna drag across. Drag across like that. I start at the last one. And I'm gonna hit right click, copy frames, or you can hit Control C. And then I'm gonna click on the first frame beyond whatever my armature was. I'm gonna right click, paste frames. All right, so now I have two of the same thing. So it gets to this point and then should start over and do it again. So what I wanna do is I wanna make it put it down. So I'm gonna click on the first of the second group of frames, drag it across to select them all, making sure that I don't select any blank frames past it, and right click and say reverse frames. All right, so now when I loop my animation and play it, let's make sure I'm playing everything on it. So let's loop my animation. Yeah, strong. All right, so that's it. And so we're done with it. You can save your work. So what we're gonna do, File, Save, and I'm gonna title it Robot, or is it called Muscle? I can't remember. Robot Muscle. Muscle Robot. I don't know. You remember what it is. So I'm gonna click save, and then I'm gonna save it as a GIF. File, export, export animated GIF. Once it's done exporting, I'm gonna click, make sure that my transparency is not on. So if transparency is on, you see these little checkered background. That means you can see through it. I wanna make sure I have a white background, and then I'm gonna click save. musclerobot.gif and click save. Remember, if you want to view this GIF later on, you have to be in a browser to view it. So that's it, and on to the next animation. I hope this was helpful. All right.